The views and opinions expressed in this podcast do not represent the views and opinions of Pod Nation Media or any of its affiliated podcasts.
All right, y'all. Welcome to episode number 4 of In the Shade of Brilliance from Pod Nation. Brought to you, of course, by your hosts, Sean Rowe and Sam Daniels right over here.
Yes, sir.
So
For.
we're going to be discussing the second part of a very heavy agenda. And this one...
Dude, let me just tell you, it's quite a fucking agenda. It's outlandish.
Oh, man. This one starts off with, of course, if you watched the last episode, you remember us speaking about the Project for the New American Century, and that became the foreign policy initiative whenever Obama took office, and they
Thanks, Obama.
They pretty much. Did you know that he actually said that?
What?
He said thanks, Obama, at like a dinner.
I can't be surprised.
Or some shit. Yeah, but he was like trying to be funny or some shit. In any case, you know, the foreign policy initiative, that's like PNAC 2.0. They even bring in like new neocons, so to speak, that were younger.
The young bucks.
Younger. You had like, I think like a couple gay dudes. I showed you think of that one guy.
The guy with the e-cig.
Yeah. You know, I mean, of course, if he's vaping, right? Let's see.
What do they call it? What does dude at work call the vapor? Douche flutes.
Oh, that's really good representation.
That was funny. All right, so what are we touching on? We got a lot of stuff to go over. Episode 2, I ain't watch it all. Sean Rowe just recently finished rewatching it. This is like the third time he's watched it. It's like 2.5 hours. So give him man his time, because he's taken some notes that of some information that he suspects you might find of value. So I mean, first and foremost, and lo and behold, we're starting with Billy Crystal again, city slicker motherfucker, Bill Crystal. It is has been quoted as saying that Obama is a born again neocon. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. He was on he was getting interviewed on a show, and this was right in the months like right after Obama got elected and shit, and you know, the transition from Bush 2 over to Obama, there was still that like lingering foreign policy of like kind of like a hawkish
war
thing, you know, and then so Obama was all about certain attack strategies and certain usages of basically like drones and all this other shit that's been released now, but this was all those years ago. And yeah, he was like, yeah, I think that my boy is a born again neocon, you know, because he shares my views. Of course, later on,
was he saying it in jest at the time, but like kind of have an underlying sense of?
No, he was being serious. Yeah, but you know, over time, he started changing his mind and like started like bashing on him. You know, after he got more settled,
right.
So to speak. But yeah, the new neocons, these guys were
They're
like
putting in work, y'all. They're doing dirt, and some of this shit's incredible. I didn't even realize that some of the periodicals that I was all about are neocon stuff. But you know what? I'm cool with it. I guess I'm a fucking part neocon.
They've infiltrated, into. But yeah, I'm a little bit right. At least. So these dudes are pretty much infiltrating the the new sites geared towards millennials and just like the younger population, things of that nature, such as
trying to get hip with the culture, man.
You know what I'm saying? Daily Beast, BuzzFeed, Vice, even more recently, of course, and just those types of outlets. So you can see how they're strengthening, they're proliferating their spread of information in that sense, right?
Damn. Well, I mean, I'm kind of still kind of taken aback because I got to tell you, man, like I've enjoyed Vice, one of my favorite authors. I've referenced Jim Goad on the podcast a couple times, and he and his work Answer Me more or less served as an inspiration. I guess you could call it pretty radically far right in terms. I mean, but it's like kind of like a universally, I mean, or maybe a personally applied sense of, I don't know, they called it hate speech in certain trials and things that came up. But I mean, I haven't heard such things about Vice.
Well, we'll get to Vice in part 3 because that's where the director does like an entire expose over Vice.
Oh shit!
It's like
there's more to come, y'all.
Yeah, it lasts. Like he spends like probably at least like a good chunk of the part 3 on Vice alone.
So join us in episode 5 and get your chunk on.
And how it started as something that was actually kind of admirable, and then it kind of like morphed into like something more twisted.
I'm sure once the money started rolling in.
So the Foreign Policy Initiative, along with all of the other neoconservative think tanks that kind of are credited with spinning the world on their fingers in terms of like the Western civilization.
It's kind of funny that you use the word spin because I was just about to, I was trying to figure out how to segue into the next, aspect of the outline here. And what you're talking about, the, spinning and the shaping of perspective in terms of the story that's presented. And how would you imagine the shaping of perspectives would surround the governance and the conflict going on in Ukraine?
Well, I'd have to say that they were coming together and they were coordinating like the outlets that I'm speaking upon. They were coordinating and releasing articles like attacking Russia and demonizing them for, just because isn't that what you said the other day? It's like they're an easy an easy
target to scale. Well, I was talking about something that's actually going to come up later, but talking about the fucking concept of Russian hacking and the Russian espionage agenda. And if I'm not mistaken, I've heard it being said. I'm in no position to really, I don't know. I mean, I guess to an extent I am, but the whole idea that they consistently refer back to this whole story about the Russian programs undermining. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, like, we got an appreciation for the idea that that type of agenda exists. There are state-sanctioned psyops, I guess, and programs that are initiated on foreign bodies from nation states and what have you. But I mean, with as often as and just tonight, by the way, tonight was the night of the first presidential debates.
Yep.
We watched some of it. We didn't get to watch it all, but I thought it was kind of fucking interesting. Not in the respect that most of y'all might, because I don't really give a shit about the election, because I think it's bought and sold and paid for. So it's all bullshit. And it's bad for you. But
in any case, we're probably gonna record some of I guess an opinion piece
on the debate.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could. I don't know that I know enough people that give a shit that would give their opinion.
No, in any case, I think that people would be interested to hear what we have to say.
What we have to say.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not gonna bullshit you. I'm not voting at all, but I think Trump fucking owned. No?
Today, yeah, it's very dangerous whenever he can speak upon certain truths of Clinton's past and recent like events of her campaign. It's really fucking dangerous when he can say things like, you know, you call the TPP the gold standard, you and the DNC colluded to like get Bernie out, and just like various things like that. You know, he's for this debate. And to be honest, I thought it was kind of like a fictitious smokescreen. But for this debate, he adopted some type of a strange, bizarro Bernie Sanders persona where he was like the other, well, yeah, just like the bizarro Bernie Sanders and shit. And it just seemed like it wasn't real, but in any case, it was effective because he was able to like put in those good shots.
Dude, he obliterated.
You know what I'm saying?
He was launching I mean, not that I would suggest that a political campaign should be, you know, all about you know, mudslinging and taking shots, but some of his shots were digging and, you know, like very tactful and very subtle. And we're gonna come
back.
Know,
yeah, because we're gonna come back to that because both of those fucks are dangerous as hell. That's all. So,
but moving on. So
in any case, oh man, in any case, I'm sure that you guys are familiar with the crisis in Ukraine. If not, check out Winter on Fire. It's on Netflix. It's a documentary about the Ukrainian Revolution, but it's really fucking good, you know.
Yeah, check that out.
And yeah, no, for real. But so they favored Russia and not the European Union, and that pretty much got them into trouble with the West, you know, with NATO and obviously the United States. So in November of 2013, in the Ukrainian parliament, one of the members of parliament found out about this project put forth from the U.S. embassy in Ukraine called Tech Camp Project. And that project was formed in order to make plans for a civil war in the Ukraine. So this is the United States embassy, right? And of course, the Assistant Secretary of State for European Affairs, guess who that is? Victoria Nuland. Oh, who is that?
Robert Kagan's wife.
Oh, that's fucking Robert Kagan's wife.
How convenient.
What a fucking surprise, right? She's also working hand in hand with the ambassador to the Ukraine, and that dude's name is Jeffrey Pyatt, and they just had a plan from the get-go to be involved with a kind of a separatist movement within Ukraine, and
far-right swastika.
Yeah, no, they were involved with some neo-Nazis. You know, there's videos of neo-Nazis backed by the U.S. embassy publicly going into prosecutors, like state prosecutors, state defenders, people that hold public office over there in the Ukraine, just bum rushing them, going into their office, assaulting them, grabbing them out of their chairs, pulling on their ties, slapping them around a little bit, like as a, you know, like a cartoon, some shit, and like just like cursing at them, talking shit to them. You know, it's fucking crazy. Neo-Nazis, can you believe that?
So the Nazis are against Russia? Or they're pro-Russia?
They're against them.
There's a lot of Nazis in Russia, from what I understand, too.
Oh, yeah.
But,
not Russia, Argentina.
There's Nazis everywhere. I mean, it's interesting to note that, like, in every country that fought against the German brand of fascism, you know, in World War II, like, there is an existing, you know, pocket of Nazism somewhere in there, whether it be Russia or the UK or fucking USA for that matter. I mean, shit, dude. I've even read articles where fucking, if I'm not mistaken, like Russian Jews or whatever who were able to get into Israel even fucking committed some hate crimes in Israel itself.
Did they?
Yeah, it's
wow.
Yeah, because I remember hearing that, and I was like, man, I thought you didn't really go there unless you were cleared in some respect to at least be there. But
right.
I guess the screening wasn't so tight that day. What are you gonna do? Sorry about my voice, folks. I need a lot of food.
What happened?
Oh shit! Well, I've abused my.
Was it last night? Was it
that too?
vocals?
That too. Well, that and I earned a couple extra dollars in the bathroom at the bus station.
Oh,
that's another story.
There you go. So so a combination is deadly
between
combination
between the two, my voice is very hoarse, of course.
Yeah. I think that we actually got some video footage of that whole jam session.
Oh man, I'm sure it was fun. I had a great time. I'm just kind of fearful to hear any of it.
Have you guys ever listened to Burn the Priest? That was Lamb of God's name before they became Lamb of God. It was the same band, like same members and everything, but they released a record under that name, and the vocals, if you want to get like a feel for how he sounded, like that's a good representation of Burn the Priest. Check it out.
Awesome. I guess I'll take that.
You probably like that name.
I do know of them. I mean, they're from like Virginia or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right on. They played
from Richmond.
The town I'm from. Well, they played in the town where I'm from.
Gotcha.
All right, so enough digression. We're moving back on.
So,
very heavy agenda, part 2.
So just like I said, Victoria Nuland, Robert Kagan's wife, of course, and Jeffrey Pyatt, the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. They've been working hand in hand. They've been talking on the phone regularly, walking the streets of Ukraine, just assessing the situation and things like that. And there was a leaked phone call. I'm not sure how it got released, but they were talking about how they should pick and choose the members of the Ukrainian parliament for their next administration. So they're like, okay, whenever the prime minister gets forced out,
we got to get some people sympathetic to our plight.
We got to make sure that these people are our supporters. We definitely can't get that one dude that found out about tech camp.
And
that dude's got to go.
We need no whistleblowers in our bunch.
I wouldn't be surprised if they killed that dude. You know what I'm saying? But in any case, in that phone conversation, Victoria Nuland kind of ends it with yeah, fuck the EU. She actually says that. The fucking Assistant Secretary of State for European Affairs is completely ridiculous.
It's been quoted. It's right there. Fuck the EU, it says.
Yeah. Fucking on the phone with another diplomat. You know what I'm saying? Just, the hell is your fucking problem, dude? You should know that.
Zero faith. I got zero faith in government, in our leadership. It's absolutely fucking horrific.
So, eventually, Ukrainian dude, prime minister, he's out of there because of tech camp. Neoconservative influence has influenced the entire fucking planet at this point, especially the Western and the Islamic civilizations, at the very least. There's an interesting interview with Vladimir Putin. Charlie Rose was actually interviewing him on 60 Minutes.
Am I a bad American for being like, yeah, dude, Putin's cool? I'm a bad guy.
Oh, do you remember Vladimir Putin got arrested at the supermarket? It was this tall black dude with dreads. And,
yes, I remember. He sent me a link. You should post that.
Yeah, we will. But yeah, some dude at a Publix in fucking Alabama or some shit. Turns out his name is Vladimir Putin.
What are the chances?
It's just comical. Do you have a fucking sense of humor, you fuck? I don't know. But, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the interview with Charlie Rose on 60. All right. So, what's wrong with Putin? Yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
well, people hate on him just because he's Russian.
Yeah, I got you.
Got a dirty past and he's pro this.
Yeah, he used to be in the KGB, right? He was a KGB agent.
Are you gonna hate on a dude because he had?
I'm not. I'm just.
I know, but you're gonna hate on somebody because they had a job. I guess people hated on George Bush Sr. He had the same job essentially, right?
Yeah. Even I mean, no, yeah, it was the same thing.
Essentially the same
thing. Yeah.
So if you hate on him, I guess you can hate on Putin if you
gotta
want.
hate on the HW.
But I like the idea of a person that's got insight. If you are part of an intelligence agency, the theory being you've got insight, you've got access, you've got experience to your credit, and I mean I think that lends a lot of support to to somebody to take on a role.
That is very true. That's very true. In the interview, Charlie Rose is like, so do you think that the United States were on the side of the ousters, right? And Vladimir Putin's like, yeah, they definitely had some kind of a hand in that, right? Charlie Rose is like, so are you saying that you're only speculating, you only think that that's what's happened? And Vladimir Putin was like, no, that's exactly what I believe. Like both of them are wearing those like translator things, so it's kind of like a lag and stuff. And Vladimir Putin in Russian's like, no, it's exactly what they're doing. And Charlie Rose like furrows his brows, like, how do you know that? You know, this is 60 Minutes. You can't just be saying that kind of shit on this show, you know. But in any case, fucking Obama administration endorsed the new prime minister in like 3 days, so.
Of Ukraine.
Yeah, it's obvious that
he's back. You know, Western influence.
For sure. Something that was interesting that's related to the greater collective of the topics that we're going to be touching upon. We always speak upon the institutions of mind control, and we're probably going to.
I've had so many, dude, and with people who may or may not have heard our podcast. You know, I've had so many conversations lately regarding these various institutions, particularly, I mean, because I don't really have this conversation with many people, first and foremost, but when I do, it's usually touching base on stuff that we've already covered. It's not necessarily usually ever somebody bringing the idea coming back at me.
You're saying that people have actually brought it up to you?
Well, I mean, like, at least it became, it proliferated within the conversation.
Wow.
And I had a really good conversation this very afternoon, as a matter of fact.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was really awesome. But,
nice.
And I felt like there was a sense, I mean, because keep in mind, I didn't like read something that said, okay, now the institutions of mind control are as follows. I didn't have that textbook.
You didn't watch the YouTube show.
No, I didn't get the YouTube
of people
video.
Explaining it to you.
You know, so it was like a series of conclusions that that coalesced after a greater collective assessment.
Why don't you write that book?
Maybe I should. It'll be a coloring book. If I were to do it, it would be a coloring book.
Yeah, you should be the author of that book. Just straight up, just point blank, the institutions of mind control. That's the title.
All right, there we go. I'm gonna do it. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna do it. Maybe I will. Maybe they got really interesting talk to text technology now, so I might be able to actually write a book. Because I get real gabby when I get going. And it's gonna require a hell of an editor. I will tell you that. So, all right.
So, better.
Dude, I got so many different fucking books I could bullshit my way through.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I could.
Oh, sure. So I'm talking about propaganda, y'all. Okay? I know that we always talk about this, but guess what? I'm going to drill it into your mind until you think about it all the time. So, John Kerry, Secretary of State, obviously this is after Hillary Clinton's disastrous fucking term as Secretary of State, just psychotic fucking lady. But
what'd she do?
Well, what'd she do?
Or what'd he do? What did he do?
Oh, okay, I was about to say, you want me to get into that now? Because I can, but so here's a quote from John Kerry. In fact, the propaganda bullhorn, which is the state-supported RT, he's discussing Russia Today and how it's state-funded. He's like dissing RT. You know, he's saying they almost spend full time to propagandize and to distort. This is John Kerry, the Secretary of State, and he's like saying that we don't do anything like that.
Yeah, but you know, like that kind of quote. Who is that? What's the source of that quote? RT did that.
C-SPAN.
C-SPAN. that sounds like the kind of quote that you would expect an American audience to receive. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Yeah, but
sounds
that's
like
the Secretary of State
sure,
saying
sure.
that to you.
But what he's saying though is relative to the greater picture that everybody does this, and you can certainly appreciate that Putin would, or a dignitary of Russia would say the very same thing about Russia or American broadcasters. You know, I mean, with its FCC
but the problem
approval
is that he lied and he said that we don't do that.
Oh, did he say that
yes.
we don't?
Yeah, he said we don't do that.
Oh, well, yeah, that's
and
pretty,
if anything, we do it more than them. You know, but that's actually a bullet point.
That's a hefty bullshit sandwich right there. I don't know if I can be able to swallow that one. This podcast brought to you by Shiner Bach.
Oh shit! Good old plug-in for that. Texas too, so why not?
There you go.
A little bit later, on March 3rd of 2014, so this is now 2014, kind of.
What year is this?
2014 now. We were just in 2013 whenever we were talking about.
This time travel shit, I'm not used to it.
Yeah, I know, just jumping around front and back, you know, it's kind of fucking...
1.21 gigawatts.
Pretty sure that you guys are familiar with Breaking the Set. It was an excellent show. It's not a show anymore, but Abby Martin was the host.
Oh, she's hot.
And, dude, oh shit. Like her brother's thing, you know.
Well, I don't care. I'll tell her. She's hot. What?
All right. So after her broadcast, she kind of voiced a dissent, you know, kind of unofficially talking about how Russia's occupation of Crimea is just wrong. She's completely opposed to it. There shouldn't be any kind of like unwarranted military intervention and just like essentially borderline invasions, things of that nature. And mainstream media, they love that shit. They fucking made that like a top story, you know, saying like, oh, this anchor on RT just dissed Russia, which this network is state sponsored, so she must be in trouble, whatever the fuck.
I remember seeing that clip of that one newscaster in Alaska who was doing a report on, I guess, some type of increased penalties for weed possession or whatever, or maybe it got voted down, or I don't remember. But the thing is, she got upset about it, and she was like, "Oh, fuck that." She's like, "I quit," because like I guess they wanted her to report some bullshit. I don't remember what it was, but she was very dissatisfied and quit live on air, and I was very impressed by her doing so.
But
a little too reactionary on mine. Pretty good.
Yeah, Abby Martin though, she's excellent. She has another show now called Empire Files. It's like the successor to Breaking the Set, so check that one out too.
Is she on RT again? Or now?
No, now it's Telesur.
Tele what?
Telesur.
Okay.
In any case, she has a whole bunch of episodes with that show now. One of them is like a piece about the Move bombing that I think that.
I'm a fan of that topic.
I'll definitely send you that. But check it out. James Kirchick, who happens to be one of the new neocons, a quote unquote journalist for the Daily Beast. It's not really a journalist, dude. I mean, if you're
it's basically just a paid spinster.
Turns out he's also a fellow at the Foreign Policy Initiative.
Oh, how convenient that he's already one of the boys.
Interesting that you just swoop in there and kind of take your position as the new face of PNAC 2.0, but
prepared to carry all the water necessary.
He goes on interview on CNN or one of those bullshit ass fucking channels, MSNBC,
bullshit ass channel,
Fox News, goddamn. Just all that. It's fucking trash. If you watch that, then you're fucking... Something's wrong. Something's fucking wrong.
You're blind to the facts of who you are because you've been watching that garbage.
So they ask him about her, and he's like, oh, this chick is a complete lunatic. She's a conspiracy theorist. She's a 9/11 truther. She's like... She doesn't know what she's saying, so... You can just forget about that. Don't even think about that. March 5th. 2 days after, the Foreign Policy Initiative goes on Twitter. Yeah, FBI tweets. Can you imagine that? What the fuck? And they are saying to tune into RT because, quote, something big is about to happen. And every 5-10 minutes or so, they keep on tweeting, right? And they're like, don't forget, go to RT, check out what's about to happen, some crazy shit, and they're like drilling it into you. Check it out. Another anchor, her name is Liz Wall. She does like a little dissent piece or something, but the camera is right on her, and she's doing this number to where she's like looking down and her eyes are moving. She's reading something like straight up, like you can't avoid fucking
right.
Yeah, but she's reading like a pre-written speech, and she's saying she can't be a part of a network that whitewashes the actions of Putin. And she says, so you know what, right now I'm gonna quit. She quits like on the air.
Didn't she get picked up like almost immediately
by the Blaze?
Yeah. I kind of remember that.
Yeah. Check it out. James Kirchick, Mr. Ivy Martin's lunatic guy, new neocon, who I think is just like, he fits the whole persona just very, very well.
He's
and yet another one of those types of guys you just want to like punch in the face.
He really fulfills the archetype.
Yeah, beat up and shit, An hour after Liz Wall quits, he has an exclusive interview for her on the Daily Beast. And in that interview, she's like, truth is power and propaganda isn't any good for anybody. And she's now a puppet of the Foreign Policy Initiative, which is
a propaganda arm.
Exactly. Mainstream media, invites her to all these shows.
There's a certain
becomes
irony
like a celebrity.
in that. I mean, like you could almost, you could write it, but it's such bad writing that you wouldn't want to.
Yeah, it's like a really shitty novel.
Or a soap opera, more or less. Because these people are fucking behind the scenes every now and again, so there's got that element.
Well, they call it like Washington, the Hollywood of ugly people.
I don't know, but I ain't trying. No wonder cigars smell so bad.
Yeah. So mainstream media, they invite her. She becomes like a pseudo celebrity type and shit, and they're like asking her, "Hey, where are you gonna go next? Are you gonna work at CNN? Where are you gonna work?" Shit, and she's like going along with it. Oh, I don't know, fucking whatever. Something interesting about this chick is that, of course, Abby Martin was a coworker of hers, right? Abby Martin says that this girl never ever voiced any kind of concern or like any kind of like dissent
whatsoever
towards
Russia. So this is like essentially like a publicity stunt.
Yeah, she like all of a sudden.
This is all like scripted essentially.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely scripted by the Foreign Policy Initiative. She's like in league with Jamie Kirchick, who's the fellow there, and also a correspondent for the Daily Beast. Dude, that shit it's so beyond like a reasonable doubt that it can't even be called a conspiracy theory.
It's
just because of how
exactly. Just follow the chain of events.
Just because of how factual it is.
And the movers in question.
Yeah, that shit is just completely ridiculous.
Ludicrous even.
Yeah, ludicrous for sure. In any case, these dudes, the old neocons who are like the ringleaders of these, they're still on the air, regularly appearing, saying the same old song and shit, even though they got publicly dissed by like the community. Oh shit!
Go back and died.
Oh man, so they're playing the same old game where they're saying like, dude, we need to go in here, we need to obliterate them, we need to fucking take control and then do all this shit. It's so fucking funny. Oh, wait, go on.
Well, no, where is he talking about? We gotta do that.
Now he's talking about like Ukraine. You know how it was Iraq.
Right.
Yeah, now it's like Russia is the enemy now.
Yeah.
And so they're saying, yeah, we need to get in there. We need to.
There are all the people talking about no war in Ukraine. Everybody was all no war in Iraq, but I don't see any. Well, but then again, it's not contingent upon American boots being on the ground, so nobody's gonna give a shit. Okay,
exactly.
never mind. I take it back. I get it.
And why would they care if it's something that they're not even going to be exposed to as well, with all this fucking propaganda going on?
All this fucking propaganda.
It's funny how like all of these dudes, Bill Kristol, Dan Senior, like Robert Kagan, every single time that they're like being interviewed and shit, and there's like multiple people there, whenever they go off and they say like they're like so passionate about how we need to like take control, and like I don't care if people call me a fucking imperialist, war criminal and stuff, like the looks on these people's fucking faces, they're just like
what they're hearing.
Yeah, like their faces are just so fucking expressionless, but also with an expression though, and it's just fucking
I think that has a lot to do with people's inability to empathize with a perspective beyond their own experience. I mean, you might not be able to appreciate every nuance of the experience, but the general idea can certainly, be established, and I can understand where this dude's coming from. He's on a show. Okay, you want to learn about? I mean, you couldn't like. See, remember we had the segue into the guys who were all just getting grilled by Congress and everything like that. So these people are a beyond approach. Like you can't, you'll never be around them, let alone in a position to where you'd be able to affect any type of application of justice to them, whether it be
application of justice, huh?
Whether it be litigation or whether it be fucking street justice, whatever you fucking want to call it. So I can appreciate why this guy, he knows that he's on the set of the stage, he's got the security of the production, he's got his own private security, I'm sure. He's sitting there and he's relaxed, and he'll tell you straight up. He's like, "Yeah, dude, y'all can't fuck with this." Like just like you could expect like if there was some, I don't know, I figure most of you guys are cultured to, idealize the pinnacle of
pinnacles.
The pinnacle
Precipices.
of social.
Nah, I'm just fucking
What did
around.
you say? The precipice. That was funny. Another debate reference.
So your word cavalier.
Yeah, Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, cunt.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is we're so cultured, and some more than others for sure, but to perceive like a status of power being just like this figurehead of a conglomerate of individuals, all working for him and everything, but like the scope and scale of what the average person might consider compared to what the reality is, it's so much different. You wouldn't even expect that relative ideal you have in your head of the of a figurehead of power that you could conceive. Imagine the guy who's really got access to incalculable wealth. It's like just growing at a rate that's so fast that it's not even really a sense of what it was before I started the sentence. It's just so much bigger. So I can appreciate their lackadaisical, cavalier, and what was the word? The word you like? Laissez-faire attitude.
Laissez-faire, that French fucking term.
Fucking frogs. What I'm saying is, like, yeah, dude, he'd say that, and he'd say it no problem. He doesn't care what your expression is because you're wrong. Not you, but you're wrong, and you're not gonna appreciate where he's coming from. Again, insights and perspectives and dollars.
All of these people that are getting interviewed and giving their opinion, it was like a real life version of, Kinky Sex Makes the World Go Round, that song.
Yeah.
It was an actual representation of that. Check out episode 2 if you haven't already. Watch the whole thing, or just skip to the very end. I don't give a fuck, but just at least watch that last music video of Dead Kennedys, because it encapsulates exactly what the foreign policy initiative is doing. They are doing exactly what is going on in that song, where they're like pushing for war because they're associated with companies.
The corporations will be pleased.
Yeah, the corporations will be pleased. You know what I'm saying? Just they're like, yeah, we can have Raytheon and Lockheed, which are our peers, and send a whole bunch of weapons over there. Everybody can make money. All of the
we can make this war so big.
Yeah, so big. And then what's the lady go? She's like, oh, yeah. what are you talking about? It's like
wonderful.
It's like strangely scary, but at the same time, it sounds like I'm about to have an orgasm or something. But yeah, check that
We
video
knew
out.
you'd
Man.
agree.
Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing, man. Kinky sex makes the world go round in real life.
Shit, man. Yeah, do you tweet?
Yeah.
Because I don't. Do you?
Yeah.
I don't tweet. Cause I ain't tweeting, motherfucker. Tweeters.
But he will pretty soon.
Tweeters get skeeters.
Yeah, he will pretty soon.
What's that mean?
I don't know.
I don't know. But in any case, I haven't tweeted. I don't have a Twitter thing. I don't even know that I know how to use it. I'm old, people. I'm old and I'm cold. I'm cold and I don't know what time it is.
Black-hearted.
Not yet. Black lung getting there.
Black lunged.
For sure. Where are we at on
You
this?
didn't see that?
What was that?
11:19.
Oh, yeah.
You want to take a little break?
I would love to, because this cigarette ain't going to smoke itself.
All right. In the Shade of Brilliance, episode 4. We will be right back.
Honey.
Hey guys, make sure you guys check out Entertainment Playback with me, Deja, and Censored.
What is up, Pod Nation listeners? This is Andy.
And this is Joey.
And if there's one thing you need to know about us, it's that we're absolutely nuts for video games. Isn't that right, Joey?
I am certifiably insane.
But don't let that get in the way from joining us on Game Grok, the only Pod Nation podcast that asks the hard-hitting questions about everything video games.
Will Mario ever marry Peach?
Will there ever be another good Sonic game?
Does Nintendo even care about Mother 3?
So join us on Game Grok, the only podcast that treats you like Player One. Brought to you by Pod Nation.
Yes. Indeed. Because we're now doing the coffee thing.
Yep.
You might notice a slight. You already noticed it?
Yeah,
You might notice a slight differential in our vocal tones and speaking patterns.
Yes, now the conversation is being motivated by caffeine and not alcohol. So,
but we still got the THC.
Slightly different molecular composition. Oh yeah, not to mention that as well.
Not to mention. But I don't know where we last touched base on, but guys, we're still concluding on in our little thing on a very heavy agenda. This being we're on episode 2 or for episode 2, and one of the last things we're talking about is Ukraine.
Yep, we were on the subject of the Ukraine, the conflict over there. You know, NATO, Russia, neocons, neo-Nazis, certain suspect-ass marriages.
Oh,
man. Speaking of Victoria Nuland, though, dude, there's a quote from her saying, "Some of the choices Russia has made has challenged the world order." When in fact, the United States, while I'm sure that Russia and so many other countries also do this, the United States does it first and the most.
And then blames other people.
Blames other people. You know, the whole principle of like Russia putting the troops on the border over there and like pushing closer and closer to their border is that NATO promised not to keep on going to the right.
But they keep going.
You know? And then they keep on fucking going. So it's like, what do you expect Russia to do if you're going to continue to go against?
Going to the right, I'm pretty safe to assume you're speaking about going east.
Yes. I have a map in my mind of NATO and Russia, and I'm just like, you know.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
We're just clarifying for the folks playing the home game.
These guys over here. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. You know, keep on keeping on. You know,
where are we at now?
That's like the whole principle of Russia putting their troops there in the Ukraine and Crimea.
Totally. It's a preventative defensive measure.
What do you expect? You know what I'm saying? She goes on to talk about RT and how
who is she?
Yeah, Victoria Nuland, Robert Kagan's wife.
Why isn't she Victoria Kagan?
I know. It's funny.
Is she a professional?
It's funny, you know. That I can't tell you, but what I can tell you is that the other Kagans, their wives, have the name.
Really?
Yeah.
She thinks she's special.
But is she?
I don't know if she rode the short bus, but she seems to be riding the gravy train now. This fucking chick, dude. She's like, I am actually, you know, I gotta say, I'm a bit envious of motherfuckers who are in positions of power like this. I wish I don't know that I would be able to conduct myself in a completely virtuous and ethical fashion, but I would I would like to think that I would be the benevolent dictator.
Benevolent. That's funny.
Quite benevolent.
Just
moving on.
Like she's saying that RT and the other Russian sources are spreading untruths and propaganda, which is like, dude, that's what you're doing at this very instant. Not only that, but we do it on a much grander scale. You know what I'm saying? Like John Kerry himself, it's kind of like related to that quote that he said earlier, but he was just saying how Russia is spending a huge amount of money to produce shows in different languages, and he's like, the United States, we don't do that. We don't do any of that. They're like using their state-funded sources of media to, propagandize this. We don't do any of that. When in fact, there is an entity, and yes, I'm going to call it an entity because it encapsulates so many sub-entities, and that is called the Broadcasting Board of Governors.
God damn, that sounds influential.
That is actually a part of, it has really close ties to the Department of State, because within the Department of State, suggested by Edward Bernays, coincidentally, he suggested that within that department there should be a Bureau of Public Relations. At first, they were like, maybe we'll do it. Eventually, they did it. They ended up changing the fucking like wording of it to make it sound like all better and stuff. I think it's like some kind of a Bureau of State Public Affairs, or and if you ever watch press conference at the White House and like the dude that comes out to like speak and he's like always dodging all the questions, yeah, he's like the representative of that Bureau of the Department of State. So just for your reference.
Just so you know.
So I'll just give you some stats about a Broadcasting Board of Governors, which is the machine that pretty much every neocon news source gets their information from. They're like the Reuters for the neocons, man. They have a station called Voice of America, Radio Free Europe, and Radio Liberty, which is like the European one. They've got Radio Free Asia. They have the Middle East Broadcasting and Ahura TV. They have the Office of Cuba Broadcasting. So they have all these outlets, all different languages in all the parts of the world. If you have a map and you can see where these stations broadcast and where they're able to send their information, it's the whole globe, dude. Easily, you know what I'm saying? Easily. John Kerry's quote, "We don't do that. We don't spend all this money." False. 30% more, actually, than Russia. The budget in 2014 was $731 million. They had 3,500 employees. 51 bureaus. I know I touched upon a few, but they have 51 bureaus. They got production centers all over the world in over 60 languages. This shit is being just propagated out there. They got their shit wired tight.
Well, there's at least something commendable to say.
Yeah, so
at least they're thorough.
Yeah, at least they're thorough. But next time, good old John, just like fucking say that we do it more instead of like lying and
own up to it. Responsibility.
Don't be like fucking hoe ass trick and shit.
Hoe ass trick. Sound like Tone Loc. You like to do the wild thing. So this is pretty much the encapsulation.
Pretty much
episode of
summarized part 2. Part 3, dude. I'm telling you, it's an hour longer than part 2. It's like 3.5 hours.
Okay, so
there's that whole expose on Vice that I'm pretty sure that everybody will be.
Dude, these episodes of this documentary, like as I mentioned before, they're pretty fucking long, and it takes a considerable commitment. I don't know how many of y'all are even gonna A, watch the podcast, B, follow all this that's being spoken upon. C, you want to see that? Yeah, C.
Didn't you skip B and C and go right to D, or did you just say B and I thought you said D?
Well, A was I already forgot, but I think I'm on the C or D. The point of the matter is, I don't even remember what it was.
So people, you were like people.
Oh yeah. They whether they're gonna watch the podcast here, whether they're gonna listen to all the information while watching. So that would be B, and then C, actually see the documentary that is the source material for the entirety of these episodes.
This trilogy of episodes,
and it is
so to speak.
So once upon a time during the conceptual logistical planning of, or lack thereof, of these episodes that deal with this documentary, we considered the idea, and I don't know if we're still going to be able to move forward, perhaps, maybe by the time it comes to the third episode, to get in touch with...
I think that we definitely should at least make an attempt.
Okay, well, what's the guy's name? It's Abby Martin's brother?
Yeah, Robert Martin.
Robert Martin. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Robert Martin, your sister's kind of cute. There, said it. Sorry. No. he thinks it's funny. But I do enjoy some of her work as well. I would like to speak.
Empire Files, check it out.
Empire Files.
Uh-huh.
Okay, there you go. And it's
Telesur.
Telesur.
But hit up on YouTube though. That's the most readily available.
There you go.
Just kind of something that's not really related, but I just kind of wanted to ask you about it because
here's the part.
Just because our good people just deserve to know.
There's good people. Well, I guess if they're listening to us,
just because these people deserve to know, like, what was Burning Man like, man?
Shit, man! It was crazy, dude. It's
a lot of us just never experienced anything like that. So.
Well, I mean, it's really weird. It's like it was the second time that I went, but like I went like 12 years ago, and it's pretty comparable. I mean, there's a certain consistency that I can say that has been maintained. I mean, at least so far as the span of 12 years that differentiate the first time that I went to the most recently. Couldn't tell you how it was back in like '87 or whenever it first started, but I don't know, man. It was pretty intense. There was, I don't know, a difference in this visit, to Black Rock City than the last time, because last time it was like I don't know, like a myth versus reality kind of situation, and when there's something presented to you that might have a certain, instill a certain ideal in your mind, and when you get there, and the ideal is either it's either fails or it exceeds your expectations. Mm-hmm. First time, I'd say it probably failed a little bit.
You're talking about the first time you ever went?
Yeah. The first time I went to Burning Man, I think the reality didn't really it wasn't consistent with the the ideal that I think I had allowed to get inflated in my mind. But it is pretty fucking cool. It's not to say that I couldn't, extract some type of good time out of the scenario. I mean, you put enough mushrooms on anything, it's going to be all right.
Chocolate ones too, right?
Chocolate, indeed. And caramels too. But
speaking upon psychedelic substances, if you're not familiar,
send all of your psychedelics to In the Shade of Brilliance at blah blah. No, I'm not going to tell them. No, yeah, that's way too good of an idea. Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't send us nothing. You can hand us stuff if you want. I guess you see us on the street, but we might not take it. I mean, I don't know, because you might be sketchy.
Yeah, for real, dude. Like,
I don't know you. I don't know you like that.
So, but the most recent time, then.
So the most recent
different.
time,
it was more of a.
It was a completely different scenario. Like, it was way more, just like relaxed in what I could expect. Like, there were like there was cool parts to it. There was shitty parts to it. And it's, I mean, Burning Man's kind of like a metaphor. I won't say a metaphor, but it's like a metaphor for life, man. No, it's not. But, I mean, it's like anything.
Was that a cheat?
No, that's just some fucking burnout.
Oh, okay.
Character.
Quintessential, prototypical burnout voice.
So, like, I mean, it's kind of like life. You get out of it what you put into it, and there's definitely a lot of people who put a lot more into it than we had available to put into it. But it was enough to extract a good time.
Well, that's cool, man.
I mean, it was pretty. If you haven't gone, definitely check it out. Why the fuck not? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like it's the biggest fucking party in the world or anything.
Yeah, right.
And it's
how many days long is it?
It's like a week long. Better part of the week, 8 days.
Week long party. Damn, maybe we should assemble a group.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I mentioned on the Undead podcast that we'll be. I guess we're gonna broadcast that. Are we gonna do that tonight after we get done shooting this?
Well, I mean, if we have time, because like we gotta, or at least I have to like look over the transcript, just to kind of
get an idea.
I think it'd be better than me like trying to hurry and like writing down ridiculous fucking things that they're saying, and also not ridiculous simultaneously.
Oh no! I was talking about the Undead podcast that we.
Yeah, and like I was planning on kind of bringing up the things that were said at the debate. In that.
Oh, were you?
Yeah,
I thought we concluded it last night. You were gonna put some stuff in there. I didn't realize. I'm sorry.
Maybe we're talking about two separate things.
It's quite possible.
It's quite possible, man. We're mixing various substances right now. So.
It happens. Hippie speedball.
Mm-hmm.
So the Burning Man was fun. If you haven't done it, check it out. I'm gonna see if we can figure out how to do it. We can get the Burning Man this year. We'll do a fucking at least one Undead podcast from.
Do you by chance have any photos? I mean, I know that you yourself personally didn't really take any, but if anybody.
I'll share with you guys the images that I shared on social media.
Good.
Like
I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, because just for all intents and purposes, this is an image of me right before, or as we were arriving.
Look at that,
dude! Look how happy he looks right there. He looks happy. So. So after like 8 days of desert dwelling and partying and not sleeping and drinking and shrooming and smoking, which you're not really, be careful. If you go into Burning Man and you got weed with you, just keep it on the down low, man. They trip on that shit.
Oh, damn.
Oh, damn, for real. I heard last year there was like 600 arrests or something like that.
Careful, y'all.
Es no bueno. But, yeah, so I don't know, what was I talking about before? I was talking about the Burning Man with the weed and stuff.
Oh, you're just talking about that before photo?
Oh, yeah. So this is the end result of Burning Man.
Look at that.
Just say no to drugs, kiddies.
Just say no to substances.
Yeah, it's fucking, I look like some type of reject from the post-apocalypse. Which, by the way, I gotta tell you, okay, it's like a week long. I spent the vast majority of my time at the fucking Thunderdome, like straight out of Mad Max, dude. It was awesome.
Damn, man.
They play the best music there. Let's hear it for the Death Guild.
Speaking of interesting, I don't want to call it a party, but an interesting event.
What's that?
Is the one that's coming up that we're about to go to in Philly.
Oh,
if you haven't looked up this band called the Bad Luck 13 Riot Extravaganza, please go on YouTube. You gotta fucking pull up a new tab or whatever the fuck.
Why don't we just play? Well, at the end, we'll play them a clip.
Okay.
We'll play a video of Bad Luck 13.
We'll show you something. What is that thing that they do whenever they're like, what you're about to see may be shocking to you.
Oh, the disclaimer. Yeah. If there are any small children in the room, please.
Any small children, or if you have a queasy stomach.
Old people to get offended easily.
Or young people to get offended easily. I know that some of my fellow millennials are like just little bitches and have to complain
Millennial bitches.
Have to complain about every fucking thing that's like ever gone on this planet, and it's just like, who the fuck are you? Grow up.
Hypersensitive pussies. Yeah, exactly. What are you gonna do? In any case, so we're going to the East Coast to the Philadelphia area. This
crazy shit goes on at these things, man.
This musical collective that I was, part of for a couple of years back in the mid to late 90s, I guess, was it was a pretty crazy good time for all intents and purposes. But this band still kind of exists in a relative state, although it's kind of been continued on by its ringleader in other forms, namely Eat the Turnbuckle. If you guys are into like extreme wrestling, backyard wrestling. Yeah, I mean, like when I'm talking about extreme, I mean these motherfuckers are crazy. They're absolutely outstanding, and they just got cited as fucking champions of something at the Guarbecue. You know the Guar. You know what?
I'm not familiar.
So you know who Guar is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Guar the band. Well, every year for the past few years, they've had this thing called the Guarbecue, and well, I guess at this particular one, they had some type of event, and Eat the Turnbuckle played, and because of the wrestling antics and whatever may have else gone on,
tomfoolery and whatnot,
that type of thing. They reigned supreme at that event, from what I understand. So, this week coming up. Maybe we can, dude. Maybe during some of the various layovers we have in the airport, we can do an undead podcast. Yeah. Who knows?
I mean, maybe, maybe we can like live stream it for y'all so that it can kind of be like a direct kind of deal there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Let's try to kick that one around for a bit. But so we're gonna go see Bad Luck open for Brujeria.
Brujeria.
If you don't know who they are, actually, I'll tell you what. We'll play a video from them right after the Bad Luck video. That's a little.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. I mean, if you like good music, shit.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking tough. And when I say tough, I'm saying tough like TUFF.
Yeah.
Tough.
If you're not familiar with that, go read The Outsiders. Yes. It's by S.E. Hinton. If you're not familiar. Or, I know a lot of you fucks out there are too lazy to pick up and read a book.
Fucking fucks.
Just like go watch the extended version by Coppola. He directed a film adaptation of The Outsiders. Feel free to check that out.
It pretty much starred the entirety of the
Brat Pack. And if you can't, just kind of flip through a page, which I'm sure that a lot of y'all can't. So
can't lift a page.
I'm sorry. I just mixed some substances, and I'm just a little bit.
He's trying to be provocative, y'all. He's trying to goad you and jibe you into action.
Yeah.
Because he's got faith. He believes in y'all. I don't believe in shit. You guys are fucking grab-ass-tic, disorganized pieces of amphibian shit. You guys ain't got no kind of organized structure about y'all's sales. All I'm saying is, Outsiders is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Tough.
Yeah, and y'all better not be fucking socias, dude.
Yeah, fucking Madras Mustang driving motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Madras. There were like the Izods at the time.
The fucking like cut off vests, like a V-neck and shit, like with like the diamond pattern on there.
Very stylish.
Sweater like tied around your fucking neck, and you just look like a fucking piece of shit.
With a girlfriend named Buffy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Buffy. Yeah. So we're gonna go check out the metal show, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I've been to shows all over the fucking country, and I'm not gonna deprive anybody of their necessary credit, but I will say that, I mean, from shows as far north as Boston, as far as south as, oh man, fucking Atlanta, maybe some shit in Richmond, maybe some shit in Houston, like, dude, Philly fucking rips it. Is harder than any place I've ever seen. So if you get an opportunity to go to a decent show in Philly, definitely check it out.
Check it out, man.
But I mean, I didn't necessarily want to wrap up the show just talking about or going to the show because I'm pretty stoked on it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm down to like just kind of freestyle it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Cool.
I don't know if you have anything.
You're gonna start spitting some fire.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta take this off because that's not very hip hop.
Definitely not
cover on there. Yeah, I mean, instead, yeah, exactly. I need to hold in my hand like cup the mic, which the audio engineers hate so much. It's hilarious. But
I think I violated last night I cupped it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Wow.
I did, and I got a lot of feedback for it.
Shit. But no, I mean, if you had some kind of topic.
Oh man,
not really.
I mean, I'm sure I could expound on a whole host of different shit. I mean, I don't know what, and like I didn't have anything necessarily prepared because I was kind of trying to piggyback off of the very heavy agenda that we were more or less going to focus on.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not trying to drink. I almost did it again. I'm so used to there being a back, dude. It could have been dead. But I'm not necessarily trying to drag people along through a podcast that could be wrapped up and moved on. We're gonna come up with another episode soon, and I know you aren't watching them, waiting on the edge of your seat, waiting for the next episode to come out. So
yeah, well, maybe a few of you are, but
I appreciate the support. Mm-hmm. You know, whether it be people that we get links from the show and they they're friends with us on Facebook.
Thanks, y'all. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, for real, fist bump. But yeah, I mean, unless you got anything else to add, man, I'm ready to sign off on behalf of.
I think I'm gonna sign off as well.
In the Shade of Brilliance, coming at you. This is episode number 4 Quattro.
Mm-hmm.
And
be sure to like us on Facebook. That's gonna be at Itsob Podcast, ITSOB Podcast. Also our Twitter handle. And of course, follow us on there and keep up with us, man.
And we can't forget the Pod Nation Media. Thanks
Pod
again
Nation
for
Media.
helping us out.
Those boys they're my boys, man.
They are doing
Shout out to Russ and Chris there, man.
Thank you, Russ and Chris.
You guys
appreciate it. And Russell, it's true. You're going to hell for that
long comment post. Yeah, you're gonna go to hell, man.
But nonetheless, In the Shade of Brilliance coming back at you real soon. Episode number 5.
Goodbye.